Hello everyone, reporting to you live today from the historic mill pond in Yaphank. You might be wondering, Cherie, what the hell are you doing all the way in Yaphank today? And it's because we looked at a house out here. As you know, my housing journey on this island has been insane. I have moved, I cannot tell you how many times, but for the last 6 to 8 years we've lived in Comac, somewhat happily, due to having to move further up island because of work opportunities and commutes and all that other good stuff. But this week something amazing happened. We were approved for a mortgage, so now we can start hunting for a home. And what we have recently come across was a unicorn, and I'll tell you more about it in a minute. So I've always had issues with housing. Here on Long Island is very expensive, and there are very few resources for parents, young parents, single moms, to maintain housing unless you get yourself on a list for many, many years. I have a girlfriend of mine who was smart enough to get herself on Section 8 housing and subsidized housing years ago, and she's had a lot of success living there, and it's made her life somewhat easier, being able to not have to pay 40-50% of her income on housing. And that's really just the way it is here on the island. I've worked really hard to find resources through Long Island Housing Partnership, CDCLI, and the townships to get help. I just unfortunately was never able to get on a waiting list for any of this public housing. And to be frank with you, I was on a list for Section 8, and by the time they called me up, I was back in stable housing, so I wasn't able to get that. So we found a unicorn. We found this beautiful house in Middle Island, and it's not so much about the house, because the house is very old. It's 1913, so it's 123 years old. It's 113 years old. It's an old house. But it's got over an acre of property with lots of accessory structures, and the most important thing is that the taxes are crazy low, which is really big considering we are buying as older buyers. So fixed income when we get older is very important, and I think having something where you're not paying $12,000, $13,000, $15,000 a year in taxes is very important. That comes with a big change though, because right now we're living in Comac. We've been living in Comac for 8 years, and this would require us to move out to Middle Island. I'm not completely against it, but it is a very big change and a very significant shift for all of our children to come back out here. So that's really something that we have to take into account. We have other houses that we're looking at this week, so we have to make a decision over the next 2 weeks. So somehow, some way, you guys are going to find out exactly where we are going to wind up landing.